912 Sports, Southeast Georgia's #1 source for high school sports. Welcome to On Air with 912 Sports, a weekly look at high school sports in Southeast Georgia, featuring coaches, players, and journalists who know the ins and outs of prep athletics. Presented by the award-winning writers and broadcasters of 912 Sports, and sponsored by Coastal Pines Technical College, Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross, Kim Smoke, licensed realtor with Crossway Realty, Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, Prime South Bank, and Gibson Animal Clinic. Now, this week's headline.
It's a huge night for high school football all over the 912, but none bigger than what's going to take place between the bricks Friday night for the city championship as the Glen Academy Red Terrors host the Brunswick High Pirates. We'll talk to Coach Sean Pender and Coach Rocky Hidalgo about the big matchup there in Glen County Stadium. Plus, on tonight's show, we've got the Ross's recap, and Kevin and I will preview the big games all over the 912. All that and more tonight on Air with 912 Sports. Thanks for watching.
Play it loud and rev it up. Robbie Robertson's got trucks built for tough.
Make your way to Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross, where the deals are bigger than ever. Looking for a stylish midsize car, a spacious SUV, or a truck that performs at work and play? Robbie Robertson wants your vehicle and is paying top dollar. Now is the time to buy. Fords are cheaper in the swamp.
At Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, you don't have to be an athlete to get the region's best orthopedic care. Our board-certified orthopedic surgeons and physicians treat injuries and conditions that affect just about any joint or bone in your body. Plus, we're backed by the support of Southeast Georgia Health System. From fracture repair to joint replacement, Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery will get you moving again. Call 1-855-ASK-SGHS. That's 1-855-275-7447 or visit sghs.org/summit.
Welcome into another edition of the Ross Recap on 912 Sports. I'm Robbie Ross. Another exciting week of high school football this past Friday night. Our game of the week was Brantley and Frederica, the teacher versus the student. Coach Jeff Cannon taking on his former boss and Brandon Derrick, and Brantley got the job done in Caney Bay, 28-13 for their second win of the year. Thursday night, it was Brunswick hosting Islands at Glen County Stadium. Double duty for KP as the PA guy there. Brunswick defeated Islands 41-6. Camden County defeated Oak Leaf, Florida 50-6. It was Pierce County all over Clinch County 33-13. Coffee against Glen in that second game at Glen County Stadium this weekend, 42-0. Coffee defeats Glen Academy, and Ware County defeats Bainbridge. Long road trip from Waycross down to the southwest corner of the state, defeating Bainbridge 42-15. It was Appling over Bradwell 39-6. Tatnall County beat Bacon County 59-10. Charlton County defeated Tift Area. It was 28-14 there in favor of the Indians. It was Effingham defeating Howard 27-6. Jeff Davis over Long County 34-12. Statesboro taking on Liberty County. Statesboro Blue Devils win that one 23-6. McIntosh County Academy all over Bryan County 42-0. Northside Warner Robins defeat Richmond Hill 43-7. It was Piedmont defeating Robert Toombs Christian Academy 33-7. Swainsboro all over Dublin 39-7. Pelham defeated Toombs County 18-13. It was Vidalia over the Academy of Richmond County 22-3. And another game that played on Thursday night, Benedictine defeated Wayne County 51-7. That'll do it for this week's Ross Recap. I'm Robbie Ross for 912 Sports.
High schoolers, did you know that you can get a head start on your college career and save money at the same time through dual enrollment at Coastal Pines Technical College? Dual enrollment is open to high school juniors and seniors, tuition free. Talk to your high school counselor or visit coastalpines.edu for more information. Coastal Pines Technical College, an equal opportunity institution. Go Coastal.
Gibson Animal Clinic is ready to help with your animals. From cats to dogs to horses, we treat them all. Calling us for grooming, bathing, boarding, And more serious things like surgery, dentistry, spay, neuter, immunizations, heartworm prevention, flea control, complete lab testing, radiology, preventive health care. Call us at 285-7678. Open Saturdays for your convenience. Gibson Animal Clinic. Practical solutions with reasonable fees. Russell J. Gibson, DVM.
Gibson Animal Clinic, 108 Riverside Drive, across from Harvey's in Waycross.
Hablamos español en nuestra clínica.
Good evening, everyone. Kevin Price for On Air with 912 Sports. Last week I was out at 2 games here in Glenn County. Brunswick High School played Islands out of Savannah on Thursday night. Glenn Academy then played Coffee on Friday night. First, the Brunswick High School score, it was the Pirates 41, the Sharks of Islands 6. Again, that was on Thursday night. And then Friday night, the Trojans jumped on Glenn Academy 42-0. First, some highlights from the Brunswick High School game. Of course, the Pirates with the win now go to 4-0 on the season. Brunswick still ranked number 7 in the state in Class 6A. The story of the game, really the weather. A lightning delay delayed the start of the game, but once the game got started, it was played in a driving rainstorm throughout the first half. The rain subsided in the second half, but the field was a sloppy mess after 4 quarters of football. Still, the Pirates stayed on their game and ran away from the Sharks from the very get-go. The Pirates scored on 4 of their first 5 possessions to run away from the Sharks right from the start. Leon Charlton had 2 touchdowns for the Pirates. Reese Simmons and Jaden Drayton both also had a touchdown. Jacoby Hill caught a touchdown pass from starting quarterback Sutton Ellis. Nick Gray blocked a punt for the second game in a row and actually scooped it and scored this time for the Pirates. That also was in the first half. And Keon Leggett blocked an extra point try by the Sharks to keep that score at 6 instead of 7. The Brunswick High School Pirates also had a 91-yard drive in the game. That was in the second half as they added another touchdown on the scoreboard after leading this game 35-6 at halftime. So again, the Pirates still undefeated going into the city championship matchup next week with Glenn Academy. Now for the Glenn Academy game, the story of the game, really the Coffee Trojans, as good as advertised, still undefeated at 5-0 on the season, counting a forfeit victory in week number 1 over Drew. Still ranked in the top 5, number 5 actually, in Class 5A. Of course, they're in that region with rival Ware County and also Warner Robins. All 3 of those teams are going to battle for the region championship, and then all 3 teams will also be in the running for the state championship there in Class 5A. But senior Maurice Turner, every bit the player that we thought he was, a star for the Trojans on Friday night. 222 all-purpose yards, 99 receiving yards, 66 rushing yards, and 57 punt return yards. That was on a punt return for a touchdown. That was one of his 4 touchdowns in the ball game. He also caught a pass of 37 yards for a touchdown and also had 2 rushing touchdowns. Altogether, Coffee really put the pressure on Glenn Academy's offense. Coach Rocky Hidalgo very disappointed with the play of his offense, particularly his offensive front, which did not establish a line of scrimmage, which prevented Glenn from really doing anything, particularly rushing the football. Tyler Devlin really had no time at all to throw the football. According to Coffee stats on Max Preps, they did have 8 sacks in the game, 12 quarterback hurries, and 1 interception. So Glenn Academy 1-2-1 on the season. Region play starts for both Brunswick and Glenn this week. Of course, the game with the Pirates and Terrors also for the city championship here in Brunswick. Should be a good one. Brunswick will be favored. It will be our game of the week here on 912 Sports. We'll have more on that as we go throughout the show. And of course, I'll be back with a recap of the city championship showdown between the Pirates and the Red Terrors next week. Have a good evening, everyone. And until next time, may God bless you and the 912.
Robbie Ross. I was at Richmond Hill and north side of Warner Robins at the MAC in Warner Robins, and it was not a pretty night for the Wildcats, still trying to get their feet wet and get their legs underneath them after losing so many seniors last year, and then really having a herky-jerky first 4 weeks of the season. Play a game, off a game for COVID, play a game, off a game for COVID, play a game, and now here they are going to play 7 straight weeks as region play starts up. 7 straight weeks counting this past week against Northside. Now region starts up this Friday night in their first home game as well at Richmond Hill against against Bradwell. That's who comes to town. It's homecoming week, too. Recapping the game against Northside, first quarter, a 7-yard run by Damian D., their quarterback. Northside took a 7-0 lead, and another minute 59 to go in the first quarter after a just mishap on a kickoff where Richmond Hill let it bounce, thinking it was a punt. It was not a punt, obviously, live ball. Northside picked it up, and they scored on a 6-yard pass, Damian D. to Centavius Lowe, very good wide receiver for Northside. That was 14-0, and then after an interception of Ty Goldrick, he had 4 on the night. Damian D. went for the home run ball and a 57-yard touchdown pass to Centavius Lowe to make it 21-0. You'll remember last year Richmond Hill decimated 52-12 in that game and scored, much like this one, an early lead. I think led 21-0 after the first quarter last year at Richmond Hill, and Richmond Hill scored 14 points in the first 51 seconds of the game on a pick six of their own and a scoop and score in the first 3 Northside plays. So kind of a role reversal from one year to the next. Second quarter, much of the same, but Richmond Hill finally got on the board. Ty Goldrick to Nick Bliss, the only touchdown of the night for the Wildcats, made it 21-7. McClendon for Northside had a 1-yard run, made it 28-7 at halftime. No scoring, but a very long third quarter. A lot of passes, a lot of penalties, just kind of sloppy play. And then the last 2 touchdowns was a 70-yard pick six for Northside, make it 35-7, and then a 5-yard touchdown run made it 41-7 by McClendon, and then it was totally Northside's night. Kicker, or the snapper, bad snap to the holder. He picks it up, makes something happen, and finds a receiver in the end zone for a 2-point conversion. So it was Northside 43-7, the final score up at the MAC over Richmond Hill. But as I said earlier, Richmond Hill opens region play with Bradwell at home this Friday night. It's homecoming, so we will see how the Wildcats bounce back. I'm Robbie Ross for 912 Sports.
Welcome to On Air with 912 Sports. I'm Sean Smoke, publisher of 912 Sports, and I had the opportunity to travel over to Bainbridge, Georgia, this past Friday night to watch the Ware County Gators take on the Bainbridge Bearcats. What was thought to be going to be a tough game, but the Gators pretty much got out early and pretty much controlled the game the whole way through. The final score was 42-13. Like I said, the Gators were pretty much in control from the opening kickoff. Took the opening kickoff, drove down the field, went up 7-0, and really never ever looked back. The offense was clicking on all cylinders, putting up 42 points on the board, 559 yards of offense on the night. Thomas Castellano was 335 yards passing, another 200-something yards rushing there by Cartavius Norton and his other stable of running backs there. But Thomas Castellano, another magnificent night. Like I said, at quarterback, 1 pass play here will show you 3 defenders coming in on him, and Thomas just politely drops a 50-yard bomb to Jarvis Hayes for a touchdown there. Just a fantastic play. And then again, Cartavius Norton had a big night. We'll show you this clip here. You can see Cartavius take off to the right, and then all of a sudden sees it's clogged up, comes back to the left and takes it down the field for about 30, 45, 40, 50-yard gain there, whatever it was. But again, another big play on the night there for the Gators. The defense was very stingy, gave up some yardage, but didn't give up a lot of points. One of those touchdowns wasn't even against the defense in their 15-point total there because it was given up on a kickoff return. Like I said, Henry Bates kicked the line drive down that Smoke Bowie, a big 4-star recruit going to Texas A&M, caught on a line drive, and 95 yards later they had put 6 on the board there for the Bearcats. But the Gators in great shape here, 4-0 on the season. Got a tough road game this week as they got to travel over to Savannah to take on a tough Benedictine team. Benedictine coming off a big 55-7 victory over Wayne this past Thursday night. So the Gators are going to have their hands full taking on a quality 4A opponent there in Benedictine. But we'll see if the Gators can go 5-0. If the Gators can go 5-0 on the season here this Friday night. But appreciate everybody watching On Air with 912 Sports, and we'll be back with more right after these messages.
It makes sense Prime South Bank would have a great mobile app. Nobody is as mobile as our customers. For a century, they've chased dreams, followed their hearts, took the road less taken, made a new path, taken leaps of faith. At Prime South, offering the latest digital banking, secure pay apps, and new online lending is part of a mobile tradition that goes way back. Life is mobile. So is Prime South. Find your Prime. Member FDIC.
Play it loud and rev it up. Robbie Robertson's got trucks built for tough.
Make your way to Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross, where the deals are bigger than ever. Looking for a stylish midsize car, a spacious SUV, or a truck that performs at work and play? Robbie Robertson wants your vehicle and is paying top dollar. Now is the time to buy. Fords are cheaper in the swamp.
Welcome, sports fans, and thanks for watching On Air with 912 Sports. I'm Sean Smoke, publisher of 912 Sports, joined here by Kevin Price, podcast host and writer, and the head coach of the Brunswick High Pirates, Coach Sean Pender. Coach, appreciate you being on the show today, buddy.
I appreciate y'all having me here.
Well, Coach, a huge game coming up this Friday night between the Bricks as you guys will be taking on crosstown rivals Glen Academy in the city championship. But, oh, by the way, Coach, it's your first region game as well. So talk a little bit about the atmosphere and what you're going to face when you show up over there between the Bricks Friday night.
Oh, the atmosphere is going to be electric. It's going to be a fun atmosphere. It's going to be a championship atmosphere. This game has a title with it called the City Championship, so it's going to be fun. It is an important game, but when you look at us right now, you don't look at our record. You don't look at Glen's record. When you have a rivalry game like this, you throw those records out the window, and you're going to get. We expect to get their best game. They're going to get our best game, and it's going to be an electric atmosphere. It's going to be fun.
And Coach, obviously they had won 6 in a row in this series until you guys won the game last year in dramatic fashion. One of the better ever finishes, at least, in the series. Of course, that game's always going to now be remembered as the miracle between the Bricks. You guys winning that game on a tip pass very late in the game. KJ Lee threw a pass to Tyrese Jones, got tipped, he caught it, and took off to the races and outran the guys in red into the end zone for the touchdown. Your first win in the series as a head coach, but you guys invested a lot of energy, a lot of passion, particularly the last 2 years, trying to get this win and got it done last year. And we talked about it on the podcast earlier this week. You guys have to be just as hungry now to defend that championship, and I'm quite sure your guys are probably ready to do that.
Oh, absolutely. You know, this was a game last year that we had control of, for the majority of the game, and Glenn just kept nipping at us, and they had a double reverse throw back to the quarterback, flea flicker pass, for a huge gain or a touchdown to take the lead. And we had it covered well. They just made a great play, and then we turned around and were able to make a great play off of a tip pass later on in the game to get the victory. But the year before, it was the same thing. We jumped out to an early lead, and Glenn, came back and took the lead, and then we came back and tied it up, and then it was tit for tat, 2 years ago, and then they beat us on the last second field goal. So 2 years in a row, it's the games that come all the way down to the wire, and that's just seeing how this game tends to be. So that's why I told you earlier, you throw the records out the window when it comes to this game, because it's going to be exciting. I think it's going to come down to who plays the best for all 4 quarters of the game. It just says who plays the best in the first half. It's going to be, where are we standing? What's the game looking like in the fourth quarter? And who has the best game at the end in the fourth?
Well, Coach, and we asked Coach Rock this as well. Glenn's had a new offense this year that kind of got away from what they've done in the past with the triple option, and they went to this spread type offense. Hasn't worked great for those guys this year. And we asked Coach Rock, and of course he said he's going to stay the course. But what do you expect, and what are you planning for when you show up there on Friday night? Are you expecting to see the same offense, or are you expecting to see something a little bit different?
You always got to plan for everything when you're playing for Rock. I mean, that's just, it is what it is. I mean, you cannot, this isn't like video game football.
Right.
You can't sit there and go from one offense to another completely different offense, especially the option, without having a lot of practice with it. Now, we know that they haven't abandoned the option because they still run it in the game film that we've seen. They've run it and they do certain things out of it well, but do they run it as good as they've run in the past? Don't think they do. So we are going to be ready for it. We do have practice plans for it, but I'm more concerned about some of the power run stuff that they do. And the receivers they have, I mean, they have not been able to get it to them as much as they would like to, but those guys are good athletes. And Devlin, he had a not so good of a game this past week, but we know he can throw the football. We've seen him do it before, so we're preparing to get that kid's A game. We're prepared to have them try to take advantage of things that other teams have took advantage on us before, but we're doing a good job, I think, of paying attention to ourselves, coaching ourselves up, making sure that we're not vulnerable in those areas. But yeah, at the same time, we're trying to improve ourselves. We're staying what we do well and what we do well, and of course we got to be ready for anything with Rod. He is or his staff, I should say, have done a tremendous job through the years of dialing up those trick plays when they needed them. They have a nice little quarterback throwback screen that they do I've already looked on film and see how they've set it up. It's set up, it's ready to go, so we're going to be practicing that. Their reverses, they've done those reverses, those end arounds. They do have a halfback pass that they've used several times. So I know that they have a period set up that they work on this kind of trick stuff, and just based on the things that they do, we're going to have to work on it as well. And then who knows, we might have a trick or two up our sleeves as well. You never know.
No, we do know. You do. Coach, obviously, their whole team through and through, they've got some young kids, inexperienced kids out there playing for the first time, and we always expect Glenn to get better, and now it's time for them to put up or shut up, and kind of starting this week. But defensively, they always have been sound. They've always played well against the run. You know that. We've been over here. You've showed me a lot of what they do defensively and why they're so good at it. But this year they've given up big plays. I know you saw that last week as well. You saw it against Camden. And the Coffee team is real physical. You got a physical offensive front. You got physical backs that they're worried about. So you got to go out there and be the typical physical Pirate team against them and make them tackle your guys, right?
Oh, exactly. I mean, we got to play physical football against Glen Academy. We play physical football, play the way that we're capable of playing. The thing is that we got to play disciplined football as well. There's some discipline issues that we're getting better at. And I'm not talking about kids being bad kids. I'm just talking about not making the mistakes, like jumping off sides and giving them free downs. We got to make sure we're ready for, in the special teams, the onside kicks. Make sure we're ready for that, because they like to do that a lot. They like to do a surprise onside kick, either to start the game, start the half, maybe after our first score. We got to be ready for that at any time. We got to be ready for fake punts. They like that rugby style punt that they have, and their punter is a good athlete, so we're anticipating some fakes out of there as well. So we got to make sure we're covered up. We're make sure we're on our A game and play disciplined football, just like you would if you're preparing for an option team. This is the same thing. Glenn's going to make us do that. We're prepared to do that. We're going to work real hard. We've been working real hard. This is a game that you don't prepare for just for 1 week. It's stuff that you prepare for throughout the summer. It's things that you do and the things that you see. So, and again, Rock and GA, they do a good job, or historically done a good job once it's came to region play. It's like all of a sudden their game turns up, everything turns up a notch. And we preach that to our kids as well. You got the non-region games, and non-region games, you're trying to push yourself to get better. You're working on different things and trying to develop your strengths. You're finding out what your weaknesses are and what you need to improve on. And then when you get to a region game, all right, now these games matter now. Not just it being a rivalry or a city championship game. This is, like you said, Sean, the first region game, and whoever wins this first game is in control still, of the region. So that's another reason why this game is so important.
Right. Well, last year Richmond Hill and Glenn all tied for the for the region championship. Kind of went I guess divvied up as you went into the playoffs. But you guys actually tied for the region championship, so that is definitely an important aspect. But Coach, you guys have been able to run the ball very well all year long. Got a great offensive line. Got a couple of D1 guys that are going to play at the next level on your offensive line. Got three great running backs. All that possibly could be playing on Saturday. I'm assuming going into this game, you guys are going to live and die by the run.
I mean, that's just our identity this year. I mean, we do have receivers that can make plays, or quarterbacks that make plays in the passing game as well. Haven't shown it as much, but it's because our running game has been so effective. But, you know, the more effective our run game comes, the more people start bringing them safeties closer up in the box, and then next thing you know, it's going to be able to hit those home run plays here and there. So, but right now, our run game's working, you know, very well, and hopefully it will continue to carry that trend. Our guys are taking pride in blocking well. Even our receivers are taking a lot more pride this year in blocking downfield and getting in it, so which makes our running attack just a little bit more deadly.
And Coach, I mean, you know, before you even get on the field, you know, the roles are reversed this year. I mean, you've got the city championship; they want it. You're probably going to be the favorite because of the records and the rankings. They're like a wounded animal right now, particularly after that lopsided score last week, albeit Coffee's a really, really good team that might even play for a state championship at the end of the season, maybe against one of their region rivals. So how do you keep your kids focused on the task at hand, not focusing on the hoopla, and y'all guys are going to probably go out there and blow out this Glen Academy team and all that? You know you're going to get their best shot, and you're going to probably preach that to your kids. How do you make them believe it to go out there and stay focused and do what y'all been doing through the first part of this season?
Kevin, I don't have to make our kids believe it. They already know. They know these kids. They know what they're capable of doing. And you know, there might be talk out there in the community, you know, but for the most part, our kids are going to be locked in. And we've been preaching, we've been talking about having a championship type game every time we step on the field. You know, even in the non-region games, we kept using that word championship mindset. So when we are involved in the championship type atmosphere, it's not new to us. We already have that mindset. We're already been there. So we've been there, done that. It's not something that will take us by surprise. I think that it's important that our kids are able to play loose, play, you know, excited. You know, we talked about, I showed you earlier on our podcast, we have a motto: play hard, have fun, expect to win. And that's that have fun part, that unbridled enthusiasm, that excitement that you play with. I think you see that with our team, and it's contagious. It's not that we're not focused and locked in on what we're trying to do. We know what we have to do. We know the task in front of us. We know it's going to be a tough order. You throw out the records, you throw out everything else. We have to be on our A game if we're going to win this game.
Yeah. Well, Coach, going to be an electric atmosphere there between the bricks Friday night. 10,000 plus thousand people will be kind of a guesstimate on the crowd size. Like I said, Kevin talked about it earlier. Some people don't go to any football games all year long, but they're going to be at this one. So, like I said, should be an electric atmosphere over there between the bricks. Best of luck to you guys, and hopefully we'll catch up with you down the road.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Hopefully we're talking, you know, championship caliber ball down the road and long-term playoff runs.
Sounds great. Appreciate it, Coach.
All right, thank you.
How y'all doing? This is Will McClintock coming to you from Athens, Georgia. I just want to say good luck to my brothers at the High. You know, big game this Friday, crosstown rivalry. Go get it done and bring back the trophy. Go Pirates.
Welcome, sports fans, and thanks for watching On Air with 912 Sports. I'm Sean Spoke, publisher of 912 Sports. I'm joined here by the head coach of the Glen Academy Red Terrors, Coach Rocky Hidalgo, and Kevin Price, podcast host and writer for 912 Sports. Appreciate you watching tonight. But Coach, got a big one this coming up Friday night. City Championship, Region 1, or Region Game 1 on the line against the Brunswick High Pirates. Talk a little bit about what you guys are going to face when you get over there between the bricks.
I'm hoping it's a little easier than Kevin staring me down over here like I owe him money. He's bullying me up on this side. You know, Brunswick's got a good football team. They really good offensive line. The running backs are really good. That's, I mean, more than anything, you don't slow down the running backs, you don't have a long night against them. They're big, physical, athletic. They've got athletes on the perimeter. They can hurt you. You know, really good in the screen game, perimeter runs, but also their power run game is really tough. So we've got a lot to handle over there. We've got our hands full on the defense side of the ball. We're going to have to play great team defense, and we have to tackle well.
Hey, Coach, when you look at them, I mean, they look like a team that's playing loosey-goosey football. They're real confident. I don't know that it's overconfident, but they seem to be real focused so far on the task at hand. Even the other night after the rain delay, they didn't get off their game. They came out and took care of business. Did the same thing against McIntosh. haven't necessarily played the schedule that you guys have, like a Camden or a Coffee, but they're coming out and take care of business against the teams they have played. They just seem to be having fun playing football right now.
I mean, they play fast right now. I mean, obviously they beat up some teams. Anytime you're beating somebody up, that's a lot of fun. It's a lot better than getting your eyes beat in, I can promise you. But, I mean, their teams, you watch them on TV, I mean, you watch them on film. They play really fast. They're physical, playing some good football.
Yeah. On the defensive side of the ball, I know their defensive line's been is a concern for most people that play them, but who else do you look for on that defensive side of the ball to have to beat up on them?
Well, I don't know about beating up on any of them. I'm hoping we beat up on each other in practice this week. We got to get more physical. That's the big thing. We're not real physical up front. We're not real physical on offense, and that's a problem for us. I think when you watch them defensively, obviously their defensive lineman, the Thomas kid's a great player, but the Nose is a really good player too. They're big and physical at linebacker. They run well. They're athletic everywhere. They don't really have any holes on defense. So it's really going to be about us. We're going to have to go out and we're going to have to play really hard. We're going to be physical. We're going to have to get our hat on a hat. So we're going to have to go out and make some plays. People are going to have to go up and catch the football and break some tackles and winners make things happen. We're going to win this game. We're going to go make it happen.
Man, he stole my thunder once again. I was going to say it's usually about the Glen Academy Red Terriers and not so much about the name on the other jersey. And Coach, losing to Coffee is one thing. They're going to beat a lot of people, and they're going to go deep in the state playoffs, and they play Ware County or Warner Robins a second time in the state championship game. But I know you were disappointed in the effort, the lack of some of your guys competing, particularly up front on the offensive line the other night. Disgusted, humiliated was two words you used. So it's one thing to lose. You just didn't like the way your kids competed. So from that standpoint, it's going to be about the Red Terriers in practice this week, and then certainly in the game Friday night. But you were disappointed in yourself and your coaches, and you said when you went back and looked at the game film, that didn't change. It just reiterated everything you said.
Definitely didn't change.
It reiterated everything you said after the game. So
I got remad after watching it. I don't know if that's a real word, but getting remad.
So again, it really is about the Red Terriers and making sure y'all are prepared to win any game this week. It just so happens that y'all are playing the Brunswick High School Pirates.
We got to go practice and we got to play better. It's about performance. I felt like we had 3 good days of practice, and Thursday we fell off a cliff. It was the worst Thursday practice I'd had here in 8 years. We weren't very focused. Kind of just didn't have a great effort on things. Weren't real crisp, and that was kind of what we played like. I expect us to play really well. When I left practice on Wednesday, we call it Feel Good Thursday, and I didn't leave the practice field feeling good on Thursday. It just wasn't a great practice, and at the end of the day, it was kind of reflective on what we did.
Well, Coach, we don't expect you to give away the game plan, but are we going to see pretty much the same offense that the Red Terriers have ran up to this point, or are we going to see a change there on the offensive side of the ball?
Man, it's going Kevin Kelly. We're going onside kick every time, not punting. We're going to throw it deep 50 times Friday. It's too late to change all of those, offenses. You can't go, well, just run so-and-so's offense, put the wing T in. You just can't do that. You got to go with what got you there. People go, you're going to go back to the triple option. We've got some background in triple option, but we haven't run triple option play since last November. This is kind of what we're doing, and we've got to get better at who we are. This is who we said we wanted to be. We've got to get better at who we're going to be. That's in the passing game. That's coaching this and calling plays. That's one of the things that, all of that stuff is encompassed. If that's going to be our identity, we've got to get better at being us. So it's too late to backtrack and say we're going to run triple option. We've got to get in here and get better at what we've chosen to do, and if not, at the end of the year, we've got to take a hard look at that.
Hey, Coach, it is the city title game. I know you're more focused on winning a big region game, but you won 6 in a row before they beat you last year for the first time as the head coach here at Glen. Looked like you may have won the game with a great touchdown pass late. They come back and throw a big touchdown pass on the tip pass, and now they're calling it the miracle between the bricks. But you're not going to get into all that and getting revenge and going out and winning the city championship and bringing back what you think is yours. You say that's wasted energy and things like that. You're going to talk about going out and doing what you need to do to win a football game, not all that miscellaneous hype stuff, right?
If our kids are talking about revenge, if they're focused on revenge and all of that stuff, we're going to get killed. That's the truth. That's a Ponzi scheme. You got to focus on the things necessary to win the game. Revenge doesn't. You don't get any points for revenge. You don't get points. that doesn't help you in your preparation. What helps you in your preparation is focus and discipline, hard work, grit, those type of things. We have to focus on us, focus on the things we need to do to win. And every second we're on the field, every moment we need to take advantage of it because we don't have a lot of time to get better.
Well, Coach, should be a great atmosphere between the bricks on Friday night. Like I said, a lot on the line. Not only is it the city championship, but it is that first region game for the Glen Academy Red Terrors. So best of luck to you, and hopefully we'll catch up with you later down the road.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
What's going on, everyone? Jack Podlesny here. GA BHS this Friday. I've always got my Terrors. I'm always in their corner. Warren and I are started to talk smack already this week, and I know it's going to be a close one, but I know that GA is going to come out on top. Come on, Terrors, let's go.
At Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, you don't have to be an athlete to get the region's best orthopedic care. Our board-certified orthopedic surgeons and physicians treat injuries and conditions that affect just about any joint or bone in your body. Plus, we're backed by the support of Southeast Georgia Health System. From fracture repair to joint replacement, Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery will get you moving again. Call 1-855-ASK-SGHS. That's 1-855-275-7447 or visit sghs.org/summit.
Welcome, sports fans, and thanks for watching On Air with 912 Sports. I'm Sean Smoke, publisher of 912 Sports, joined as always by podcast host and writer Kevin Price. Kevin, how you doing this afternoon, buddy?
I'm doing good, Sean. Big week in high school football here in Southeast Georgia for sure.
Yeah, it's going to start off right here. You may notice the backdrop. We're in the Glen County Athletic Facility here at the stadium. We've got the stadium out here to our right. A little bit of rain falling right now. We're over here in Brunswick. We're supposed to do, Kevin, at 6 o'clock on this Monday, a softball game. Don't know if that's going to happen or not, but we'll see what Mother Nature does for us. But we're going to talk a little bit about the games coming up for this Friday night, which is the 24th. First one, none bigger than the one that we're going to talk about right here at the top of the show, the city championship between the Brunswick High Pirates and the Glen Academy Red Terrors.
Yeah, always a big atmosphere out here at Glen County Stadium. It's quiet right now, but there should be fans galore out here Friday night, festive atmosphere. Hopefully we'll get anywhere from 8 to 10,000. The stadium holds 12,000, but if you want to use a cliche, you can throw all the records out and all that kind of good stuff. But obviously Brunswick's going to be favored this year. They won the game last year in dramatic fashion. So they're the defending city champ. Glen Academy had won 6 in a row, and right now they're a wounded animal, Sean. They come in here 1-2-1 this year. Brunswick, on the other hand, undefeated at 4-0, ranked number 7 in the state. So I always talk about this game really before you even talk about the X's and O's, how the teams handle all the hoopla and all the emotions. So Glen is kind of backed into a corner. They're a wounded animal. They got 2 choices. They can lay down and take another whipping, or they can come out and fight, claw, and scratch and try to win a big game. I think that's what they will definitely try to do. I think you will see an inspired effort from the Red Terrors. Whether or not it will be good enough, we'll see. Brunswick now, the shoe's on the other foot. They're the big dog. They're the favorite. We'll see if they handle that the right way. So far, they've been focused each week on the task at hand. This is probably going to be, certainly the biggest game they've played to date. Probably maybe the best opponent they played to date, even though Glen certainly doesn't have the record that maybe you would think they have. So we'll see how Brunswick handles being in that favorite role before we even get down to the X's and O's and what the teams need to do to win this game.
Yeah, Coach Sean Pender's biggest problem is going to be everybody telling his team, when they go home or they go to McDonald's or they're walking the hallways, man, you guys are going to kill Glen Academy. They haven't won a game. This ain't even going to be a contest Friday night. That's going to be his biggest challenge, is to get his kids to avoid all that noise. Because it is a cliche, Kevin. Throw the records out the window. But it's true in matches like this. I mean, I know there's been several times that, in the Georgia-Florida game, that one of the teams go down there, highly ranked. The other teams, 4 and 5 on the season, and then all of a sudden that team just blows out the team that's highly ranked. So it is one of those top rivalries that really doesn't matter what you've done to this point. It's going to matter what happens out here to the right of us between the white lines on Friday night.
Yeah, for sure. And, so far, Brunswick's kind of won all their games going away. And so if they're in a tight one in the fourth quarter, I want to see how they respond. And, of course, last year, they responded in a big way right there at the very end of the game. Glen took the lead on a big touchdown pass very late. But Brunswick kept their cool, kept their composure about them, and came back and won the game in dramatic fashion on an incredible play themselves, a tip pass, and they took it to the house for a touchdown themselves and won for the first time in a long time after 6 straight losses. 2 Coach Rock's Glen Academy Red Terrors. They got the game won here last year between the bricks. They call it the miracle between the bricks. And we'll see if the Pirates, if they are in a tight game, if they can get the job done again. But, a lot of people are talking about, whether or not Glen's going to change their offense. I don't really see any wholesale changes. I think you might see some wrinkles that might allow them to run the football better. I think you might see some changes in the passing game to maybe get their kids out in space and see if the Pirates can tackle them in one-on-one situations or two-on-two situations. I think you might see some more of those home run balls to those big athletic receivers that they have. Don't be surprised if Glenn does roll out the trick plays and maybe take some risks that you might not take. I don't know that they can just win the game straight up, but also I don't know that Brunswick's just going to be able to pound that ball right at them between the tackles. Look for Brunswick to have to get to the edge. Look for Brunswick to have to use their wide receiver or their running backs in the passing game, and look for them to have to make plays in space as well. So it'll be interesting, the X and O matchup that the two coaching staffs have to go out here and do as well.
Definitely going to be an exciting game right here between the bricks. That's Friday night, 7:30 kickoff there between the Brunswick High Pirates and the Glen Academy Red Terrors. But let's move on down the list, Kevin. We've got Wayne at Appleton. This is a water cooler game. This is a game that all these cats that work over there at that mill in Jessup, half of them live in Baxley, half of them live in Jessup, and this is bragging rights for 365 days. Last year, Appleton got the best of Wayne, come away with a winner. Right now, Wayne comes into this contest winless on the season. Appleton is undefeated on the season, and on paper, it looks like this should be Appleton's game. But again, this is another one of those rivalry games. If Ken Cribb's going to get things turned around over for the Jackets, trust me, he would like nothing better for it to happen this Friday night. I don't know if they have the horses to run with Appleton County, but again, it's going to be a hard-fought game there, one that one fan base is going to get to brag about for a year.
Yeah, for sure. Another rivalry game. Like I said, a big week here in Southeast Georgia. This is another reason for that. I mean, Wayne right now, looking for their first win of the season. They're going to have to do it against a really good Appleton team. This is big school against small school, neighboring counties, but Appleton the big dog in this fight, even though they're the smaller school. Undefeated at 5-0, ranked number 6 in the state in Class 3A. Of course, they're focused on their region schedule and possibly making a deep run there in the AAA ranks. I think they definitely have a shot at winning the state championship. They're loaded for bear with a good offense, a good defense. Last week they had 2 backs go over 100 yards rushing. They had a receiver that caught over 100 yards in receiving yards, and we know they got a good defense. So on paper, this looks like a mismatch, but if Wayne's going to turn their season around and get ready for region play, this is a good week to do it.
Yeah, like I said, so that game's going to be over in Baxley there, so Wayne's got to travel over to Baxley to take on the Pirates. Moving right along, Kevin, let's take a look at the Ware Benedictine game. Ware just coming off a big victory over Bainbridge, winning that game 42-15. Another 4A school, but now they got to go to Savannah, play a very good Benedictine team. I think Benedictine's 2-2 on the season. Kind of been a Jekyll and Hyde team this year. They put it on Wayne County on a Thursday night, beating them 55-7, but then again lost to a Beaufort, South Carolina team. And not to disparage Beaufort, South Carolina, that's a good program, but it's not the caliber of program do you think beats Benedictine. So we'll kind of see what they get. Ware's just been racking up the yards, racking up the points. Another 559 yards of offense last week, 42 points again on the scoreboard. So it should be an interesting matchup over at Memorial Stadium, which I found out yesterday that they put turf on. So Memorial Stadium, which is a shared stadium there in Savannah, now is a turf field, big 10,000 seat stadium there, but that's where Ware will be playing Benedictine on Friday night.
Yeah, I've been to that stadium since they redid it, and it is miles better than the old Memorial Stadium as it got run down. So a nice venue there now in Savannah. But yeah, this BC team kind of hard to gauge. Still ranked number 4 in Class 4A at 2-2 on the season. Blew out Wayne County last week. But Coach Jason Strickland, very familiar with BC from his days over at Fitzgerald when they met deep in the playoffs. And I saw that BC team last year when they came here to play Brunswick at Glen County Stadium. It was one of the games that Brunswick picked up when they lost some games to Savannah schools during the COVID stuff. And BC was very good offensively. I thought they were a little bit suspect defensively, and I thought that might be their Achilles heel in terms of maybe making a deep run that we've seen them make here in recent years last year. But I know Ware County has been putting up the points and running up and down the field on people throwing and running the football, and I don't know that they'll necessarily have the yardage They had last week against Bainbridge, but here's another attractive non-region matchup for Ware County as they get ready to go in that rugged region schedule. I know they played Eagle Landing Christian there at the last minute. Of course, had that game against Bainbridge, and now they're playing another good, traditionally strong program in Benedictine. So another good, attractive matchup here on Southeast Georgia on a good weekend of high school football here in our area.
And if you like quarterback play, this should be a game to watch. You got Thomas, TC12 Castellano, quarterbacking for Ware. Again, 4 touchdowns on Friday night through the air. And then you've got Gardner, who's a LSU commit for Benedictine. So both of these cats can spin it. Thomas can do it with his legs or his arm. I don't know how much Gardner, is going to run the ball. He's more of a pro drop back style quarterback. But if you like quarterback play, this should be a great game on Friday night. But let's move right along. We've got Fitzgerald going to visit Pierce. It's hard to believe, Kevin, we're in week 6 and Pierce County has yet to play a home football game. I know a lot of that had to do with scheduling, but a lot of that had to do with the new turf field going down over at Bearville. There's been some games on that turf so far. There's been a couple of JV games, a couple of 8th grade, middle school games that have been played on it. But this will be the first varsity contest played on the new field over there. So again, not real sure what's going to go on as far as ceremonies go, if they're just going to line up and play football. But a little bit of revenge factor in this game too, Kevin. Fitzgerald, the only team to beat the state champions from last year in 3A, Pierce County. Pierce County had to go on the road over there. I forget what the total was, but it was a 6 or 8 point game difference there. But when you have a chance to go undefeated, you lose to one team, you might have a little bit of revenge factor on there for Friday night, but we'll see how this one shakes out. But Pierce finally would get the home game.
Yeah, what another great game this is. Of course, I saw Pierce here in week number 1 to open the season against Brunswick, and I know that game ended up 20-13, but of course, Pierce was gassed in that ball game against Brunswick, asked for a running clock at halftime, and they came down here without a fully loaded team, and it was hot, muggy night, and they basically just ran out of gas. And I knew that wasn't the Pierce County team that night that we were going to see the rest of the year, and I think that has bared itself out here since then. I mean, they've been rolling right along. That's the only game they've lost. I guess they're 3-1 right now at this point, ranked number 3 in Class 3A. Sean, they've got a defense, as you know, that they can hang their hat on, go to war, go to battle with every Friday night. Got some studs, certainly in that front 7, and and on the back end as well. I don't want to discredit those guys as well. So they got a defense that can win them a lot of football games, not only in their region, but certainly as they move forward in the state playoffs. And then, of course, I know they're going to get DJ Bell back, I guess, at some point. I'm not really sure when. You know more about that than me, but I know he's the bell cow for them as far as running the football. He'll be a guy that they'll make hay with, rushing the football, as they go forward throughout this season. But what a game this is. You're right. The first game in the new stadium, the new look stadium over there at Pierce, finally at home, get to play Fitzgerald, the only team to beat them. These two teams, should go at it in a heck of a ball game. Fitzgerald, I guess, undefeated, ranked number 3 in AA. Both of these teams played on that turf up there at Georgia State last year in their respective classification state championship games. And again, what a ball game on probably the best slate of games we've had so far this season. The slate I'm most excited about at this point, going back to week 1 when we were just excited to be excited.
Just to get to have football. And not only that, not to put the cart before the horse, but after Fitzgerald, you got Gunner Stockton and Raven County coming in Pierce County next week. So a lot of great football going to get played there in Bearville here over the next 2 weeks. Moving right along, we got Camden going to Coffee. Camden's going to make that long bus ride to Douglas, Georgia, and play a very, very talented Coffee County team, a team you got to see up close and personal last Friday night as they came over here and took care of the Glen Academy Red Terrors. But listen, Camden's one of those teams that's improving every week. They got some dudes on the field. They can play with anybody. This, Kevin, another game that you wish you could clone yourself and be in a couple of different places, because I think this is going to be a good old-fashioned slobber knocker of a football game.
Well, look, Maurice Turner, he just scored again down there in the corner. No, I'm not making fun of Glenn Academy, but Sean, we were over there talking to Coach Rock earlier today, taping the interview that you'll see here and or that you've already seen, and we talked about how good that kid is. And
He's a player.
He really is good, and we talked about it with Coach Herring on his podcast earlier this week, and he's worried to death about tackling Maurice Turner as well. He's one of the better players in this area, but they don't just have Maurice Turner. I mean, Coffee has a really balanced offense. They can throw it, they can run it. He's just one of the playmakers they have. You do have to account for him. Camden had a measuring stick game when they went up to Marietta. I know they felt like they could have won that game. The bottom kind of fell out on them in the fourth quarter. If they can get it to the fourth quarter against Coffee, it'll be interesting to see how they respond on the road again. This Coffee team, quite honestly, I didn't see Marietta, but Coffee might be more complete offensively, defensively, and special teams wise. Look, their kicker is a weapon too.
Yeah.
He kicked it through the end zone down there. He kicked it through the end zone down here, and he just missed a field goal wide right over here in this corner, Sean, the other night, I think from 46 yards. Had the distance, no doubt had the distance, just a little bit wide right, like I said. So he's a weapon too. You'll get to see this Coffee team when they go up against Ware. But I'm real excited about this game, like you said. I mean, this would have been one of the games I would have went to maybe if I wasn't here at the city championship game, maybe even at Pierce Fitzgerald game. Not to discredit any of the other games, but I'm really excited about seeing these games. I don't know if there's a way I can somehow see them and pay attention to what I need to do in the press box here on Friday night. But this is another great game here in our area, Coach.
Exactly. And another great single A game is you got Clinch traveling to Charlton. I mean, Clinch is, they took their lumps this year. They did beat Pelham, but they got beat up by Pierce last week. I think they're 1-3 on the season right now. You got your Charlton County Eagles at 4-0, and they beat some good football teams. So it'll be interesting to see. Clinch does have to go to the Swamp down there and face Charlton. This is a region game, so not only does this one matter because you've got such a history between these two teams, but this is going to put whoever wins this game in the driver's seat in that region. So you still got to play Brooks, you still got to play Irwin, you still got to play Turner. A lot more teams in that region. So I'm not discounting this one game makes you a region champion by no means, but still, this is the start of region play for those guys. A lot on the line, in Folkestone on this Friday night.
Well, Sean, you said in the driver's seat. What do you think about Irwin and Brooks? They probably think whoever wins that game might be in the driver's seat too, right?
Well, you're in the driver's seat against the team you're playing.
Right, there you go. You went head-to-head in that one, right? Yeah, this is another great game. I mean, a classic backyard battle down here in the Swamp, and this is another great game. It's good to see Charlton rolling like they are. I keep waiting on the switch to flip with this Clinch team, and that was a good time to do it with them going into region play. But again, Clinch versus Charlton, these two teams have been going at it down here for years, and should be a really good game. And Folkestone, one of my favorite places to go to watch a high school football game. And we'll see what happens.
Bailey Field.
Yeah, Champ Bailey Field, no doubt about it. And they know how to host a party down there in Folkestone when it comes to a football Friday night. And this is another attractive game in our area once again.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. Well, listen, if you can't find a game to see this week, you can't be a high school football fan. That's all there is to it, because there's great football all over. But let's run through the list, Kevin. The rest of our 912 teams. You've got Bradwell going to travel to Richmond Hill. Both of these teams looking for a win. It's really hard to say that Richmond Hill is winless, but they're winless at this point. So is Bradwell. So somebody's got to put a victory on the board. Cook at Brantley, Effingham at South Effingham, another backyard hate game. You got those schools are what? 12 miles apart, 8 miles apart, 6 miles apart, whatever it is, they're very, very close. So a lot of the water cooler talk was going to surround this game in Guyton, and I guess it's Springfield is where the other school is. But Liberty's got to travel up to Johnson and Savannah. MCA plays Claxton. New Hampstead's got to play Groves. Southwest Georgia Academy is going to play RTC, which is Robert Toombs Christian Academy. You got Toombs, still winless on the season, going to play Riverside Military. And Stockbridge, a big 5A school, is going to travel all the way down to 2A Vidalia to play over there in Vidalia. Kind of an interesting game. You didn't really
when I saw that on the schedule, really wasn't thinking Stockbridge is going to come play Vidalia, but that's going to happen there Friday night. So, again, get out and see a football game. There's great ones all over the place. It starts right here in Brunswick with the city championship. But, hey, listen, go to Baxley if you want to see Wayne and Appleton. Go to Savannah if you want to see Ware and Benedictine. Go to Blackshear if you want to see Fitzgerald versus Pierce. And go to Douglas if you want to see Camden and Coffee. And, oh, by the way, hey, they're having a big game down in Folkestone as well. So, great games all over the 912. Appreciate everybody watching. We'll be right back here next week with some highlights and totals.
This has been On Air with 912 Sports. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back next week with more coverage of Southeast Georgia high school sports. On Air with 912 Sports has been brought to you by Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, Prime South Bank, Gibson Animal Clinic, Coastal Pines Technical College, Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross, and Kim Smoke, licensed realtor with Crossway Realty. This has been a presentation of 912 Sports, Southeast Georgia's #1 source for high school sports.